Welcome to our session on evaluating complex automated systems and designing a comprehensive evaluation strategy. Today, we will explore how assessing artificial intelligence fundamentally differs from traditional information technology reviews. We will walk through the exact steps to define the boundaries of your assessment, outline the core objectives you must achieve, and discuss how to assemble the right resources for the job. Let us look at the real-world utility of this knowledge. Understanding this framework moves you from a simple compliance checker to a strategic organizational protector. For example, if your company is deploying a new automated tool to screen loan applications, this knowledge allows you to pinpoint hidden biases that could lead to massive discrimination lawsuits. You will be able to advise leadership on whether a shiny new technology actually aligns with the long-term strategic goals of the business, or if it is just a costly distraction that introduces unnecessary risk. Let us begin by exploring how the scope of our work expands when dealing with intelligent systems. In a traditional information systems audit, you are typically looking at predictable logic. It is much like inspecting the mechanical components of an elevator. You can see the cables, trace the electrical signals from the buttons, and know exactly why the car goes up or down. If a user presses a button, a specific pre-programmed action occurs. Assessing advanced algorithms requires an entirely different mindset and a highly specialized vocabulary. You are now dealing with machine learning, where computers find patterns without explicit programming, and natural language processing, which allows machines to interpret human speech and text. Because these technologies learn and adapt, your scope must widen significantly. You must ask if the historical information feeding the system is reliable and free from prejudice. You must determine if the final decisions made by the computer are transparent and can actually be explained to a human being. You also have to investigate whether the system's actions could introduce new dangers or cause harm to individuals. This brings us to a major hurdle for professionals in this field, which is the sheer technical depth and complexity involved. Many modern applications rely on deep learning. Deep learning relies on complicated statistics and multiple layers of artificial neural networks that process data in ways that are often opaque. Opaque means the internal decision-making process acts like a black box. Think of a master baker who creates a legendary loaf of bread. They cannot give you a precise recipe because they adjust the flour and water by instinct, based purely on the humidity of the room and the feel of the dough. Deep learning operates in a similar way. The exact path the machine took to reach a conclusion is hidden below the surface, making it incredibly difficult for you to interpret and prove that the decision was based on safe and diverse data. Overcoming this requires you to blend deep technical expertise with sharp professional judgment to ensure the technology is safe, reliable, and compliant. When you sit down to design your evaluation plan, you must begin with a top-down approach. A top-down approach means you start by looking at the broader strategic goals of the entire enterprise before you ever look at a single line of code. You must be a holistic thinker. Your job is to ensure that a tactical technological deployment does not accidentally destroy the company's future objectives. Because of this, your design phase must prioritize elements of trustworthiness, ethical behavior, and privacy. You are no longer just checking if the software is efficient, secure, and operational. You're assessing the overarching governance and accountability structures. You must focus on long-term impacts. Consider a company that deploys an automated customer service chatbot. A narrow, technical review might just confirm that the bot answers queries within 2 seconds and does not crash the server. But a holistic evaluation asks if the bot might accidentally discriminate against customers with non-native accents over time, leading to a massive public relations disaster, reputational harm, and regulatory fines down the road. You must exercise independence and strategic foresight to evaluate the true longevity and sustainability of the investment. To achieve this strategic vision, there are 6 overarching objectives you must meet when reviewing the development and management processes of these intelligent tools. The first objective is to verify that the organization uses a consistent, integrated approach to building solutions, and that this approach actually aligns with the larger goals of the enterprise. You do not want isolated teams building rogue projects that serve no business purpose. The second objective is to ensure that both the design of the tool and its intended outcomes are moving in the exact same direction as the company's strategy. The third objective focuses on the money and the management. You must confirm that standard enterprise project management practices are utilized and that financial reporting and controls are strictly followed. The fourth objective requires you to look at the system development lifecycle. The system development lifecycle is the step-by-step process of planning, creating, testing, and deploying a piece of software. Think of it like a car factory assembly line. You must ensure that every station on that assembly line is overseen effectively and completely transparently. The fifth objective is straightforward but critical. You must validate that the entire project complies with all current legal and regulatory requirements. The sixth and final objective focuses on continuous communication. You need to ensure there is indicative operational reporting. This means that clear data regarding the system's performance, its ethical behavior, and its overall outcomes are regularly sent to the accountable human owner and the overarching governance committee. Because this field evolves at a blistering pace, you will often find yourself tasked with evaluating technologies that are brand new to you. It is entirely expected and encouraged to bring in highly skilled staff or external advisors. This is known as co-sourcing. These subject matter experts provide the deep technical insights you need to accurately draw the boundaries of your assessment and determine your testing methodologies. When you are defining the exact scope of your assessment, there is a 6-step process you should follow. Step 1 is identification. You must precisely determine which systems are under review and explicitly identify the human being or specific department that is accountable for them. Step 2 involves the fuel of the system, which is the data. You must decide exactly which datasets will be accessed and tested, and then formally obtain the permissions to access them. Step 3 is locating the paperwork. You need to find out where the architectural development logs and testing reports are securely stored and acquire access to those records. Step 4 requires you to review history. You must examine any assessments or tests that have already been conducted. This includes looking at prior privacy and security tests. You should also look for second-line testing results. The second line refers to the risk management and compliance teams who double-check the work of the frontline developers. You must also review any trustworthy or ethical assessments that were completed previously. Step 5 is regulatory mapping. You must ensure that every single applicable technology, law, and regulation is accounted for during your planning phase, so nothing slips through the cracks. Finally, step 6 is acquiring the specialized documentation unique to intelligence systems. You must locate the paperwork that attempts to explain the algorithmic decision-making process, known as transparency and explainability documentation. You must also gather the reports detailing the outcomes of their bias and ethics testing. To summarize our session, evaluating intelligent algorithms requires expanding your view far beyond traditional software checks. Because advanced models often act as opaque black boxes, you must employ a top-down, holistic strategy that prioritizes long-term business impacts, ethical behavior, and regulatory safety. By aligning with the 6 core objectives of an assessment and systematically scoping your project from identifying accountability to gathering specialized documentation, you can protect your organization from hidden technological risks. Always remember to leverage external expertise when necessary to illuminate the most complex technical challenges. All the important topics and concepts from this session are covered in the multiple choice questions on RooCloud.com. You should ideally solve the chapter-wise questions to reinforce your learning before moving on to the next session. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode.